All right, welcome back, Truth Seeker. Wednesday, October 23rd, 2019. We got NBA, NHL, MLB all going on. If you listen to yesterday's live stream, Victor made a great call. He took my advice. He decoded all the players participating in the 115th World Series, and he found two players whose names equaled 115. Again, last year in the 114th World Series, the MVP, his name equaled 114. And he came up with Juan Soto and Zimmerman for the Nationals, who ended up being the two guys who homered last night. And Soto, who I thought was the more likely of the two candidates, he was the player of the game last night. Number 22 on the 22nd of October. You get a score of 5-4. Big number this year. Of course, baseball equals 54, but you got Super Bowl 54 upcoming. Oftentimes there's riddles connecting the world of sports. So Juan Soto got it done last night, and they couldn't have scripted it any better. The Nationals had 112 pitches for strikes, like Houston's 112. And again, the two men with the 115 connections both homered. The only two homers for the Nationals, Zimmerman and Soto. And again, Soto, his birthday is going to be during the 115th World Series. Likely born to play in this event. Born and named accordingly, like so many athletes are. And the Nationals last night, they had 35 at-bats. Remember, 149, that skull and bones number, the 35th prime. Garrett Cole, his winning streak lasted a span of 149 days. It was broken up yesterday. So, hopefully you put down a little wager on Juan Soto before yesterday, because his odds have certainly shrunk after yesterday's game. He's now the front runner for World Series MVP. That wasn't the case yesterday. So, yesterday, this was definitely the bright spot of the day, Juan Soto's performance. So I do hope you got a piece of that. Hockey definitely wasn't the bright spot yesterday. Man, some of these games really surprised me yesterday, but let's just go through yesterday's hockey games. There were a lot of close ones, and then ones that looked good, they just did not come through. So, Maple Leafs and Bruins, it was a close one. By the Bruins winning, they scored their 711th points, and we talked about how Toronto and Boston MA are both 117. Yesterday, that was a big number in the Toronto Raptors basketball game. It went to overtime, 117. At halftime, there were 117 combined points. So, might be some cross-sports riddle there. Boston picking up the 711th points. And the trick with this game was figuring out who was more likely to pick up their 14th points in this game. Pointed out that the Bruins play the Blues next, so they're going to face the Blues now with 14 points. They got the win last night, winning 4-2. And Toronto does carry the 43 value, the 14th prime number, but so does Bruins. So either team could have picked up the 14th points. Toronto did fall to 2-2 away in Boston. And again, Boston in 22. That number plays hard in Boston. So Boston also had a chance to fall to 2-1-1 at home, like 2-11, the 47th prime. They face St. Louis next. It would have made sense with the upcoming opponent. So tricky game. The Sharks and Sabres, talked about how it looked a little bit better for the Sabres yesterday. It was also close. Sabres did win this game. They won it 4-3 in overtime. San Jose 43. The Sharks fell to 3-6 in Buffalo. Buffalo 36. They had a chance at their 8th points against the Sabres. Sabres 19, the 8th prime. We talked about how the Sabres could get their 17th points on the 17-date numerology. They did do that. And the Sharks ended up on 7 points on the 17-date numerology. 17, the 7th point prime. We mentioned how if the Sharks lost in overtime, that's what would happen. And they stayed on 3 and 5 in the win and loss column because they faced the Canadiens next, and Canadiens is 35. So the The points definitely went with the date numerology in this game, 17-7. The Penguins and the Panthers. Talked about how that 42 plays heavy for the Penguins. It just shows up all the time. Even talked to the caller yesterday about how the score might very well be 4-2. And the Panthers did improve to 4-2, beating the Penguins 42 with a score of 4-2. Number just seems to always show up with the Penguins. So this game was a close call though as well. Penguins had a chance at the 14th points. Florida 43, Panthers 43, the 14th prime number. But again, the Panthers had that chance at the 4-2 record, so it made that very close. The Coyotes and Rangers, there wasn't a points riddle in this game other than the Coyotes could pick up their 11th points in the 11th state, New York, which they did go on to do. I was putting faith in the fact that the Rangers, their schedule, this game and the next game, it would have made a lot of sense if they got to 4-4 and 8 points. That didn't happen. The Coyotes beat the Rangers. So that was disappointing. Thought the Rangers were going to win those next 2 games. Canucks and Red Wings. We talked about how the Canucks could get the 12th points in Detroit. Detroit 37, the 12th prime. Usually the points riddles are the strongest. The concern in this game was, though, that the Red Wings also had a chance to improve to 4-5, and both Red Wings and Canucks are 45. Again, like I said yesterday, usually the points riddles take the cake. That is what happened here. The Canucks got the 12 points against Detroit. Score of that game was 5-2. But it's always best when you get a points riddle and, you know, the gematria of the teams lines up. In this case, it was a contradiction, but the points did take the cake. Predators and Ducks. Predators smoked the Ducks. I thought there was a chance that the Predators could fall to 4-4 because Predators is 44, but that did not happen either. It was the 74th game. The Predators were already on 74 points. They advanced off those 74 points by winning. But the Predators equals 44. Their next opponent has a 44 connection. I was thinking, well, actually, hold on. Yeah, no, it's impossible now. They cannot hit that 4-4. Ducks had a chance at their 7th win on the 17-date numerology. That didn't come through. And Anaheim did fall to 2-3 away. Nashville Predators is 83, the 23rd prime. So that was probably the winning stat there. The away record did sync with the opponent by losing. The Oilers and the Wild. The Oilers had a chance at their 17th points on the 17 date and could have given the Wild the 7th loss on the 17 date, but instead the Wild shut out the Oilers. It was just that kind of day in hockey. I mean, Minnesota Wild 59 the 17th prime, so yeah, some of these games, this game's got me scratching my head. Oilers also would have faced the Capitals next, and Capitals are 81. So hockey yesterday, just got to put it behind us. Bad days do happen, but some of these games don't add up. The Kings and the Jets game, again, Winnipeg Jets could have got to 6-5. Winnipeg Jets 65. Winnipeg Jets also 151 the 36th prime. Kings could have fallen to 3-6. And what else was it? Would have set the Jets up for their next opponent as well had they won, but they lost 3-2. And let's see. The Golden Knights and Blackhawks. Golden Knights could have fallen to 6-5. Chicago Blackhawks 65. Blackhawks could have gotten to 3-3. Chicago Blackhawks 137 the 33rd prime. Golden Knights could have stayed on 12 points in Chicago. Chicago 37 the 12th prime. That game didn't come through. And these riddles, I mean, they look good. So it's just like, what in the hell happened yesterday? Capitals and Flames. Talked about how the Capitals could get to 5-1 away. Calgary Flames 51 in the most pure cipher. That did happen. They beat the Flames 5-3. But Calgary had a little narrative. Calgary in the reverse ciphers 41 the 13th prime. They had a chance to pick up their 13th points at home. So there was some conflict there. And let's see. We did see that the Capitals could get that 7th win on the 17 date numerology as well. So the 17-7 was hit and miss yesterday. And in the games that really did look like the clearest, strongest reads, they were the most disappointing. So anyway, it does happen. Bad days do happen. Again, NHL will get easier as the season goes on because when the teams build up the points more, it'll just be, just more direct. Teams will pick up X point numbers versus the opponent. So still doing well for hockey, but yesterday was definitely a low spot. So that was that. And then in the NBA yesterday, the easier call was the Raptors to beat the Pelicans. If you saw the scripted ending, they had to send it to overtime to make sure the Raptors covered. Went to overtime by the numbers. But again, the Raptors looked good yesterday. It looked like a ritual set up to pay tribute to them winning the championship in their 24th season. Yesterday's game was 131 days after they won the NBA Finals. Championship equals 131. And they got their 24th win against the Raptors, like how Canada's 24 and like how they got their they got the championship in their 24th season. Caller?
Hey, what's going on, Zach?
Hey, man, what's up?
Victor again.
Good job, Victor.
I wanted to say thank you for the mention, Zach. I really appreciate it.
Well, it was all you, man. You were the bright spot of yesterday's show. Keep up the good work.
And also for the good feedback, because yesterday, those odds sometimes when you look at them, they can kind of, you can have like those googly eyes, you know what I mean? So you brought me back down to earth with your rationale on Juan Soto, so I ended up leaning more on his end than Zimmerman.
Right.
So thank you for that one.
Well, he's the young star, and his birthday is during the World Series, so you got to say, what are the odds of that?
Exactly, yeah. So definitely thank you for that one. But just a couple of things I noticed yesterday I wanted to tell you. Washington did wear that Navy jersey, and they ended up winning the game. So now they're 8-0 in that Navy jersey.
That's right. They could have fallen to 7-1 on the 71 date, but 8 straight, I guess that's the thing. 8 straight, so...
Yeah, exactly. And one thing that I noticed, I don't know if you know this, but the Nationals, their like theme song is this song called Baby Shark. I don't know if you ever heard it.
Baby Shark?
Yeah, so it's a stupid children's song. It goes like, Baby Shark, Baby Shark, that stupid song.
I didn't know that. Do you know why that's their song?
Well, I don't know specifically why. Yeah, okay, so I do know why, yes. So Gerardo Parro, who came over mid-season, and I remember I brought him up to you a couple of weeks ago because he has that jersey number 88. When he came over June 9th, he switched his song to Baby Shark because he said his kids loved it. And since then, he's had a very productive season. But the funny thing is, Baby Shark is also Juan Soto's nickname.
Huh. And I see Baby Shark has the same gematria as Nat's Magic, that other phrase.
Yeah, it actually equals 57 as well.
It's the exact same in all 4 ciphers as Nat's Magic.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy. So there's something definitely going on with that song. They keep bringing it up. It's like they do this whole hand signals with it that looks like Hitler from the Third Reich when he used to just point his arm straight out, but instead they go up and down with it. So it's like I don't know. The signal is just totally weird. But they do it at all the national games.
Well, it equals 33 and 57 like nationals too, so it makes a lot of sense. Huh. Yeah.
And they keep mentioning it, talking about like it's got 3.5 billion YouTube views. It's one of the biggest songs, blah, 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 blah. But they're really emphasizing it throughout the media. So that's why I wanted to bring it up to you, because I'm really trying to figure out when this series is going to end. I hope it goes 4-1, honestly.
It very well could go 4-1. It's possible. If it goes 4-1, I would think the Astros would win tonight because it would make more sense for them to get a home win than an away win. Verlander's still looking for his first ever win in the World Series. He's 0-4-1 in the World Series. The one is a non-decision.
Oh, okay. But funny thing about it, if it goes 5 games and ends 4-1, the Nationals.
Right.
And if you go all the way back to September 23rd, they're actually 9-2. So their last 21 games, they're 19-2 in those 21 games.
The word magic equals 102. If they went 10-2 with this phrase Nats magic going around.
And also pay attention to the Navy jerseys for the Houston team, because they have one as well. They've only won it 9 times this year. They've gone 8-1. So I think if they wear that jersey, that might be a signal for a loss of that 82. What do you think? Well, they have the 92 connection too, right?
Astros equals 92.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
But they're 8-1, so they would have to technically, win or lose a game before they can go to that 9-2. You know what I mean? Just a couple of things to watch out for. But yeah, I want to see that Baby Shark. If you have some free time to look into that, they're like pumping that all over the place. So I can't really see, besides the connection with Juan Soto, obviously. But
well, again, Baby Shark equals 57, like World Series, like Nationals, and if the Astros lose, they're going to pick up their 57th postseason loss by getting eliminated. So.
Yeah, I'm really interested to see what happens tonight. One more thing, WSMVP, which acronym for World Series MVP, equals 21. And I just found that interesting that Juan Soto's turning in 21, and then possibly also if it ends on Sunday, which is Game 5, Sunday equals 21. So, and that was also 7 days from when that umpire Eric Cooper died, if I'm correct.
Yeah, his death had a lot to do with 62. Game 7's on the day, leaving 62 days left in the year. Like how, and I noticed yesterday there's a player named Suzuki on the Nationals, which reminds me of Ichiro Suzuki. It was his birthday yesterday, Ichiro's 62 too, so.
Oh, wow, I'm surprised we never noticed that.
That's what we were talking about at the beginning of the year, because Seattle Mariners is 62 and Ichiro's 62, and the season began with them, so.
Yeah, okay, all right.
Yeah.
Well, again, Zach, thank you for yesterday, and have a good one.
All right, keep up the great work. See you, Victor. All right. So, yeah, this Nats Magic and Baby Shark. Somebody sent us the picture the other day of the Nats Magic signs they've been holding up. But it's weird, I did a web search and I couldn't find those images, but I know they exist. They were sent to me before. Hold on, let me do something real quick. 1 second. All right, hold on. All right. Okay, so NHL yesterday, it was a bad day, and they do happen. It's still, you just got to put it behind you. But the frustrating thing is just a lot of the reads that didn't come through. I mean, usually those are good reads. So it's like, how could all of these not come through? That's just why I'm scratching my head so hard. It doesn't make sense. All right, but then in the NBA, again, we were saying that yesterday's Pelicans game, Toronto, Ontario, 74. It's the 74th NBA season. They're playing the first game as the defending champions. Caller?
Yeah, Zach, I just wanted to get you one more thing before you moved on. So I remember Rambo always is talking about the sacred feminine concept.
Uh-huh.
Okay, so right now Houston is going through some sort of like shaming ritual or something like that. Their assistant general manager, Brandon Taupin, is in the media right now for getting in trouble for making comments about Robert Osuna. He came over from Toronto mid-season, but he was suspended 75 games for domestic violence. And in the game winner, he shot in the game winner against the Yankees. The assistant general manager was caught screaming at female.
Huh. Interesting. Okay.
So being that it's this whole women thing, it made me think of Rambo.
Uh-huh. Sure. Okay. And then that's interesting. He came over from Toronto. Okay.
Yeah, the whole Canada connection. And then the funny thing, the general manager's name, his last name is Tob Man. So again, for a slap in your face, right?
Right. Huh. Okay, I'll have to think about that one. Yeah, good point.
Okay.
All right, thanks, man.
Bye.
His birthday's the 38th day of the year, Robert Osuna. Okay, I got to look into that. Okay, so anyway, the Raptors riddle seemed complete, them picking up that 24th win, Canada 24. Caller?
Hey, Zach.
What's up, man?
I'm ready. I want you to give some good picks tonight. I got my money back up, man. I'm ready to bet again.
All right, sounds good, man. Let's get some good picks.
I got pretty good value up. So I need you to give me a good NBA game tonight.
I think there's some
Not
good
right,
NBA.
not right now, but when you get a chance.
We're about to. There's some good NBA picks today.
Okay, that sounds good to me. Hey, I'm gonna listen to you now, Zach.
All right, man. Appreciate it.
All right, thank you. You too. Thanks, sir.
Take care. Okay. So anyway, Raptors got it done. Comical ending. If you didn't watch last night's game, with 8.9 seconds left in the fourth quarter, tie game 117-117. Toronto's 117, 117 combined points at halftime. The ball's inbounded with 8.9 seconds, and once the ball's inbounded, the guy doesn't even try to advance anywhere near the bucket. He just dribbles the ball down to the final second and hails up a brick. It's like, what kind of basketball is that? And it was just so obvious. I was like, now watch the Raptors go to overtime and win to cover the spread, and that's exactly what they did. They won by 8 points. The spread was 7 to start the week. And, it's just so obvious that pro sports is just directly synced up with the casinos. There's no way you're just going to dribble out 9 seconds and throw up a shot from 10 feet behind the three-point line if you're trying to win a basketball game. Just like Steph Curry's not going to put up the shot he did at the end of the NBA Finals to lose it. I mean, nobody would ever make that decision who actually wanted to win a basketball game. So, anyway. And then the Lakers and Clippers game, it was a little bit uglier. I got baited, though. They threw out that stat last night that LeBron was 7-9 on opening day. And there was a chance he'd stay on 7 wins on the 17-date numerology, 17 the 7th prime, and the 17th opening day game. But that chance to go 8-9, King James 89, Los Angeles, California 89. I was thinking it was going to be a King James ritual, but maybe he doesn't get those rituals until he turns 35. Again, that'll be December 30th. And Clippers last night got their 73rd win against the Lakers. The new Lakers coach is Frank Paul Vogel, which equals 73. So perhaps that was the tribute. Again, Kawhi was going for that 17th win versus the Lakers on the 17 date, NBA 17. LeBron was going for his 22nd win versus the Clippers on the 22nd of the month, basketball and Kings 22. But LeBron, really soft game last night. Color?
Yeah, just a couple things about the basketball, Zach. So whenever it's the first game of the season, I tend to think the ending of last year's regular season always has a correlation to the beginning of next season.
Sure.
I've never tried it out though, but yesterday one thing I did observe, obviously the 37 with the Lakers, and then their first opponent being another Los Angeles team. So I ended up going the other way with that. And also,
what was the 37? What was the 37 though thing you were thinking?
Oh well, they won 37 games last year.
Oh, the Lakers, right? Los Angeles, okay.
And also, the Clippers, they won 48 games last year, and their next game, if I'm correct, is against Phoenix, and Phoenix equals 49, so that's why I ended up taking the Clippers.
Okay, so you're saying they picked up their 49th win, and then they'll face the Suns, who have a 49 connection in the next one?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, that's interesting.
But that's just something to pay attention to, like, for next year. I don't know if it's something we could stamp, but that was just my personal reasons why I went for the Clippers. Just because of that. And also, I expect LeBron, like you do, to kind of struggle in the beginning of the season, but once his birthday comes around, I expect him to have very, very strong second half. So they got to give this team supposed time to gel together for the general public. It's not just going to come together in one game.
Right, yeah. Except for in the opening when they go out to a 13-2 lead or 2-1-3 like the LA area code. Did you notice that Kawhi Leonard put through the 213th point of the game with 2:13 on the clock last night? I
didn't until your video. I ended up watching you last night and you pointed that out and I was like, oh shit, yep.
Yeah, and the 111, 213, those are both the NBA Finals numbers. So I wonder if this could be the Western.
I made a little note of that as well.
Yeah,
Thank you for that.
I think this could be the Western Conference Finals, the Battle of LA. So.
And I also think that, like, the three-peat thing with you, I think it's such a strong riddle for a lot of reasons. But one of the key ones also was when we saw Jason Kidd go over to the Lakers as an assistant coach. He had been a head coach previous to that, done a pretty good job in Milwaukee, if you ask anybody. but he goes over to the Lakers to be an assistant head coach. The last three-peat that happened with the Lakers against the New Jersey Nets.
Okay, and yeah, kid was on that team.
And that happened in the 02 year, 2000. I think it was 2002. So we're gonna have another 02 year, but backwards. We're gonna have it starts in the 20, right there.
Yeah, I guess that's an interesting thought. Yeah, I see that 2020. So yeah, 2 zeros, 2 2s. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Yeah, interesting.
But yeah, that was it about the basketball.
All right, appreciate it, man.
So all right.
All right, see you. Okay, so again, Kawhi Leonard last night, he hit the free throw right before this to make the score 102-111. It was 102-110 when he went to the stripe. 2:13 on the clock. They gave you a shot of the LA banners, and then Leonard pushed through the 213th point, and I was like, 111-213. Again, those are the NBA Finals numbers. 111-213. And remember, out of the last 4 years, last year the Warriors won on opening night. They lost in the NBA Finals. The 3 years prior to that, the winner of the NBA Finals lost on opening night. So the Lakers losing doesn't mean that they're not the team. But I do have a feeling the national media, everyone, all of them, last night they were talking about who they see in the finals. Pretty much everybody on that panel said they see the Lakers. I wish I didn't hear the national media say that, but anyway, Lakers have been the consensus many times and made it. Of course, the Lakers and the Celtics hog up the majority of the NBA titles. But yeah, they couldn't have had a bigger LA tribute. And of course, Kawhi Leonard's the hometown LA guy. His Raptors win last night, and he wins. So I guess it was all about Kawhi last night. And again, if you missed the game, it started off 2-13. The Clippers were down 2-13, like 2-1-3 again. And that's another trend that we documented all last year in the NBA. Teams that get off to the hot start in the beginning end up losing the game. Both teams that came out to a big lead to start the games lost last night. Caller?
Hey, Zach.
Hey.
You're doing basketball, right?
We're going to do all the sports today. But yeah, what's going on?
You're talking about the ones from last night, Lakers and Clippers right now. Are you doing a review?
Yeah, exactly.
Review? Okay, I just wanted to throw something in, right, just for future. I kind of end up moving. I was leaning towards Lakers, and then I moved towards Clippers right at the end because I just went and checked Anthony Davis. We know you looked at LeBron's record against the Clippers. I wanted to check because this year is all about the big concept. This year is all about the dynamic duos and how it's all evenly. And I wonder if that's done to kind of throw. It's probably going to be a little harder to read games because if they do it that way with some of these players. But I looked at Anthony Davis, and he was against the Clippers. He was 7-12, so he got the 13th loss, and he stayed on 7. Game against the Clippers on Christmas Day, and to me I looked at the date numerology of that game, and that looked like a stronger. It seemed like it had a stronger riddle for both Anthony Davis and LeBron to win on that day because it has a 22 date numerology
you're
for
right.
Christmas.
It is 22 date numerology, so he could get that 22nd win that day. Yeah.
And Anthony Davis could get that 8 right before the end of 2019. And so it's like it fits both of them on that day. And I say, that sounds like it's like a better riddle, because usually teams get it. Usually it's a better riddle to get it than stay on it.
Yeah.
But that's just kind of something I want to observe and give it to you. And also, it just seemed like a lot of people, a lot of the experts like Clippers to get to the finals. It just seems that's what I'm hearing. And when I was like, well, a lot of the money is on the Lakers. They got to do something to try to get some more money on the Clippers. And I feel like for the Lakers, it's going to be up and down. It's always like this with LeBron's teams. And when just putting that all together, I say, yeah, Clippers are like a way better bet on the win. So that was just something I observed and something I thought you should just look into when in the future games. Is just remember those dynamic duos. And Anthony Davis is a big part of the team too. So take a look at him also.
That's true. Yeah, that was a good thought with him picking up the 13th loss in the Battle of LA. And yesterday had the 7-date connection, so it did make sense to stay on 7. Yeah, that was good work.
Yeah, okay.
All right, keep it up. All right,
no problem.
See. Okay. So, but yeah, remember this game because big tribute in it. And he said he heard the Clippers talking about the championship. That could be the vibe today. I'm just saying yesterday before they played the games, everybody was saying Lakers. Lakers, Lakers, Lakers. The whole TNT team was on the Lakers. And it sounded like the whole TNT team like a Lakers-Philadelphia championship. I think that's what every last one of them said. So that was that in basketball. And again, I just had to laugh. Like LeBron's key highlight was the dunk for the 66 points. Again, LeBron equals 66. LeBron James 66. Lakers 66. When he played for the Cavs this last season, he played against the Lakers in the 66th game. For both teams of the season, it was their 66th game. And then he signed with the Lakers 113 days later. The National Basketball Association 113. And that game was on March 11th between the Lakers and Cavs, another 113 day. So it's crazy just watching them pull it off game after game. It's like, how do they get it so perfect, man? But they do. Anyway. So today there's only 2 hockey games. This Red Wings Senators game, I'd probably stay away from this one. If the Red Wings lost, they'd be 3-7. Detroit's 37. Ottawa's 37, so that is possible. The Red Wings do play the Buffalo Sabres next. Buffalo Sabres is 46, so if they win, they'll be 4-6 to face the Sabres. And remember, Sabres equals 19, the 8th prime. So far, teams haven't been picking up their 8th points against the Sabres. If the Red Wings won, they'd go in on those 8 points and maybe stay on it. So far, the Sabres are pretty hot. I'll add that to the notes here. Sabres equals 19, 8th prime. Red Wings need 2 points to get to 8. So they could pick it up and go into that Sabres game and stay on it. If not, they'd have a chance to pick up those 8 points against the Sabres. If the Senators lose today, they'll fall to 1-7-1, a bit like 171, the 18th triangular number. Today has 18 date numerology, and Ottawa can stay on 18 wins in the series versus Detroit. And remember, if Ottawa loses, they'll be on their way to 1-9-1, and Ottawa Senators equals 191. And the Senators, if they do fall to 1-9-1, it'll be against San Jose, which equals 43. 191's the 43rd prime. Caller?
What's up, Zach?
Hey, man.
Hey, so, I'm thinking Ottawa's gonna maybe win tonight, maybe win a couple here. They had the Canadian elections, and the guy who won, he's from Ottawa.
Right. Trudeau.
So I'm thinking they're giving some bones here.
Maybe. They could win. I mean, there's a riddle for Detroit to fall to 3-7, but I'm wondering if Ottawa does fall to 1-9-1, it would be symbolic. So.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, they're 2 shit teams. So good luck, right, with that one.
Yeah, I'm not crazy about this one right here.
Yeah. I've got some basketball notes. Do you want me to go now, or should I call later?
I'm about to get on to basketball in just a second. Just go for it. What is it?
Okay, so OKC and Utah. OKC's won 7 straight games, not including the playoffs. This is regular season against the Utah Jazz. So
they could win 8 straight.
Going for 8, and it'd be a pretty big payoff. They're 9-point underdogs.
Yeah, that would be a nice. There's definitely going to be some upsets tonight.
Oh yeah, for sure, easy. And
Jazz are the team that have lost 7 straight, though.
Yeah, yep.
The Jazz are favored, aren't they, to win this game?
Yeah, by 9.
Oh yeah, so okay.
OKC's.
Oh yeah. Oh I'm okay. I'm tripping. I got dyslexic for a second. So okay, the Jazz could lose the 8th straight game. Okay, I got it.
Yeah, they don't have any opening day winning streaks or opening day home winning streaks going. I looked into that already.
Okay.
And then Utah on paper, they did some moves in the offseason, so they got a lot of new guys there. So I'm thinking it's going to be if OKC is going to win, which I'm leaning towards actually, it's going to go under. Usually the rule of thumb is if the underdog wins, it usually goes under, and it's vice versa the other way around.
Sure.
Usually. And then we've got the streaks out in San Antonio. you and I went over, but I'll say it again. San Antonio is going for 10 straight home opening victories tonight.
10 equals 39 like New York.
Yep. And then you can go the other way too because of the 41. 41 equals Knicks. And I think Spurs, if I'm not mistaken, or San Antonio.
San Antonio
like
and Knicks are both 41.
Yeah. So it can go both ways. Tight game. I think, again, Knicks are supposed to suck, but New York Knicks equals 74, so perhaps they at least cover tonight.
They could surprise, yeah.
Trying to think if there's anything else. I don't think there was anything else that I have, but if I'm able to get some time, I'll call in. I do. One more. Baseball. Nationals are, they won 7 straight in the playoffs, going for 8 tonight.
Yeah, that's a good point. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think this could be a good time for in-game betting. Find out who's wearing what color uniforms.
Okay. Yeah, that's a good thought. All right, good work, man.
That's it.
All right, appreciate it.
Zach. Later, bro.
See you. Okay, so one more hockey game and then we'll do NBA. The Red Wings Senators game, I wouldn't mess with this one. The Penguins and Lightning's game, what stands out about this one is if the Penguins lose in regulation or in overtime, either way, their away record makes a lot of sense. If they lost in overtime, they'd be 2-1-1, like 2-11, the 47th prime. Tampa Bay's 47. If they lost in regulation, they'd be 2-2. Tampa Bay's also 79, the 22nd prime. So both of those make good sense. Tampa could improve to 2-1 at home. They play in an arena that equals 73, the 21st prime. And hold on here. Caller?
Hey, Zach, I know you're doing the hockey right now, right?
Right.
Okay, I'm sorry. I was hoping to just give you a note on the Chicago Bulls-Charlotte game.
Okay.
Okay, the Chicago Bulls and the Charlotte Hornets are playing their 112th game.
Right.
And Chicago equals 112.
Chicago Bulls, 112, yep.
That's all I wanted to add. Thank you.
Well, there's a few games like that today. And what's nice about it is if the Bulls coach wins today, he'll get his 18th win on an 18-date numerology, and the Charlotte coach could stay on 49 wins, and Chicago Bulls is 49. So, yeah, I'm going to go over the basketball games. I see some good ones today. All right.
All right. Thank you, Zach.
Yeah, welcome. Take care, man. Okay. So, anyway, Penguins' record with a loss, their away record makes sense in Tampa Bay, overtime or in regulation. Tampa Bay, their home record, no real great indicator, but it would sync up with the arena if they won. The Penguins play at the Dallas Stars next. Notice they're on 12 points. If they lose this game and beat the Stars, they'd get their 14th points against the Stars. Stars is 14. So that looks like the good team to pick up 14 against. And the Lightning host the Predators next. Predators equals 44. If you use the rule for S, it is also 53. Predators is also 127, the 31st prime. So if the Lightning win this game and the next game, which they host against the Predators, they could get to 3-1 at home. Because again, Predators is 127, the 31st prime. And if the Lightning did win tonight, they'd get their 5th win of the season. When you write out 5, it equals 42 like Penguins. Again, that 42 shows up around the Penguins a lot. But ultimately, the strongest thing in this riddle to me is the Penguins away record, how it makes sense with a loss in regulation or overtime. So I like the Lightning in that one. First hockey game, probably wouldn't mess with it. So all of these notes are posted. They should be one post. The post beneath the live stream post has the basketball notes, the hockey notes, and the golf notes, as well as the World Series notes. So let's talk basketball. Bulls at Hornets. Like the caller said, it is the 112th game between these teams. Chicago Bulls is 112. The Bulls lead 70-41. The Bulls coach can get his 18th win today. Today has 18 date numerology. The Charlotte coach can stay on 49 wins. Chicago Bulls is 49. And I see actually one other thing here that I can point out. Whoops, what did I just do? Chicago equals 44 as well. He can pick up his 44th loss with Charlotte. So the Bulls don't look half bad to me. But I do like that riddle there. The Pistons and Pacers game. Pacers big favorite at home. I don't see anything super clear about this game. The Pacers lead 100-94. Pacers does equal 100. Wednesday equals 100. Doesn't mean they have to stay on those 100 wins. So there was nothing really jumping out with the coaches to me about the date numerology or the opponent. So I'd probably let this one go. And again, basketball is another sport like hockey. It gets easier as the season goes on because the wins, like if a team equals 42 and a team's coming in and can improve to 4-2 versus that team, those are always a good indicator, especially if you have something else lining up that's nice. So the Cavs and Magic game, this is the 110th game between these teams. Orlando's 110. The Cavs lead 57-52. You do have 52 date numerology. Doesn't mean they have to stay on those 52 losses. The Orlando coach is 238 and 254. If he got his win today, he'd get his 239th win, the 52nd prime on the 52 date numerology. So I like that it's the 110th game. Oftentimes when the total game number syncs up with one of the teams, it's usually that team that takes it. And then the coach's record, if he gets the W today, that coincides with the date numerology. The Celtics and 76ers game, the big clue here is the Celtics coach, if he loses, he'll get his 223rd loss today. Philadelphia's 2-2-3. So Celtics coach can pick up the 223rd loss. The Grizzlies and Heat game, the Heat can pick up the 27th win in Miami against the Grizzlies. So I like that. I like that they can get that 27th win to open their season in the right location. Miami's won the last 4 games, by the way. They won the 45th game. Miami's 45. The Timberwolves and Nets game, this is the 58th game between these teams. Nets equals 58. T-Wolves lead the series 33-24. The one thing that's tricky about this game is the Minnesota coach could pick up his 18th win with Minnesota on an 18 date numerology. And the Gematria is always better. When the Gematria and the date numerology sync up together, that's the best, but riddles are usually better if the Gematria is there, but he does have a shot at that 18th win on the 18 date. So, it is the game number that syncs with the Nets, but the Minnesota coach has a little riddle, so I'd probably let this one go. It's also 52 date numerology. Minnesota's 52. That one's hard to say. Yeah. The Wizards and Mavericks game, this just makes me think of the World Series. You got Washington, D.C. and Texas. World Series game in Texas. I wonder if there could be some sort of overlap between these games. It's the 76th game. The word national is 76. The Mavericks lead 43-32. And let's see. Caller?
Hey, Zach, I'm just tuning into this Decode, and I saw you was going over that Bulls game. I don't know if you maybe might want to check into Michael Jordan. He owns the Hornets, so
That's true.
I didn't know if the Hornets opening up against the Bulls was some type of riddle. Might want to check into with Jordan.
That's true. That is a good thought. So Jordan's birthday is February 17th. I know that. See how it lines up with him. I forget how old Jordan turned, though, this year. Let's see.
I don't even know, man. I was just looking at it, and I was like, Hornets, Bulls. I was like, Jordan on the Hornets. I'm in Charlotte, so I'm like, man, let me point that out, that Michael Jordan on that. See if we can see something in there.
Okay, it's 248 days after Jordan's birthday, or his 249th day of his age. And let me make sure that doesn't connect to either team name. Was there anything else you wanted to add?
Nah, that's it.
Okay, I'll investigate this right now. It's a great point. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Yep.
Thanks, man. See you. All right. Let me just make sure those numbers don't sync up with either team somehow. 248 or 249. Bulls. Jordan is 56 years old right now. Let's see. Michael Jordan. Let me see something. Oh, it doesn't keep their stats, huh? I was going to see if I could figure out his win record as an executive. Jordan's birthday's got that 101 numerology as well, the 26 prime, like Jordan's 26. Okay. Double check Charlotte, North Carolina, just make sure I'm not missing anything. Charlotte, NC. One day off the mark. Tomorrow's his 250th day of his age. Do they play tomorrow? They don't play tomorrow. Caller?
Hey, what up, Zach?
What's up, man?
Hey, just want to let you know, for some reason, 9 of the 11 games the home team are favorites. But it also makes a good narrative for, the underdogs to win because it's the beginning of the season. And also for the Charlotte Hornets, I have a slight lean on the Bulls. The Charlotte Hornets trade away two other best players, one being Kemba Walker.
Right.
So that's all I got. And they got the hype player Zach LaVine for the Bulls playing, so they're trying to hype him up, but being the next big thing. And that's all I got.
Okay, yeah, he's the dunk contest winner, kind of like Jordan.
You got it.
All right. Yeah, appreciate it, man.
Bye.
This guy was playing in the high school by where I was living in Seattle, and I regret that I didn't go watch him play. See how it syncs up with his birthday. It's 227 days after Zach LaVine's birthday. That's the 49th prime, and Chicago Bulls is 49. So he could be a big-time performer tonight. 227 days after Zach LaVine's birthday. 227, 49th prime. Chicago Bulls, 49. And again, if that Charlotte coach doesn't win, he'll stay on 49 wins. So, all right, so we were scanning through these games. And Timberwolves Nets, I was saying, was kind of dicey. Wizards Mavericks, no clear read. I'm just wondering if we could see a tribute in the score with the World Series tonight, since you got Texas and DC. Dallas just had that tornado by the numbers, didn't they? All right. The Knicks and Spurs game's interesting. Spurs lead 53-40. The Knicks' next win is 41 in the series. San Antonio's 41. Knicks is 41. Doesn't mean it has to come today. But, I had the note here about Knicks. The Spurs won the 93rd game in the series. Spurs equals 93. Again, this is the 74th NBA season. New York Knicks 74. Could they be a team that surprises on opening night? Last year, we predicted the Knicks would finish the season with 17 wins very early in the year, and we got some real nice upsets at the end of the season because they had to win 2 of their last 3 games to get to 17. Hold on. Caller?
What's going on, Zach?
Hey, man.
Yeah, for that Washington and Dallas game, I see one team can get, I believe, the 44th win, and one team can get the 33rd win, and I believe today has the 33 date numerology. Washington can, and that's a good underdog. Washington can get that 33rd win.
Oh, I see you're saying 10 plus 23, 33. Yeah.
Yeah, on the lesser day, yeah.
That's true. And October is the only month that sums to 33.
Right. So I did see that. I got that in a couple of my parlays. Also, that Brooklyn game, I think you already know, but Brooklyn and I know Nets equals 58, and then they playing a 58 game. Brooklyn and yep. So them two right there, I like today.
The only thing I worry about in that Nets game is that Minnesota coach could get his 18th win on the 18 date numerology. But
Right. I remember last year though. Normally, when if the game number syncs with the team gematria, normally it goes to the team with the gematria.
It does in the majority, not all of them, but the majority. So yeah, that's definitely right.
Right, the majority, like you said, yep. But I'll let you get back to it. Them the only two that I looked at all the games, but them the only two I see kind of clear reads to me.
Okay, yeah, good thoughts. Appreciate it, man.
All right,
thanks.
No problem.
Okay, so it is true that if Washington won, they would get that 33rd win on October 23rd. And October is the only month that sums to 33. And then that could also be symbolic about the Nationals winning the World Series, I suppose. Let's see the Wizards' schedule. They play Oklahoma City. Then they play San Antonio on Saturday. So they got 2 Texas games. And then they got Houston. They got Houston on the final day of the World Series. Yeah, look at that. This would be Game 7 if it went there. The day leaving 62 days left in the year. Let's actually look at the head-to-head between those teams right now. There could be a big clue in that. It'll be the 152nd game. One off the mark. The Wizards' next win is 81. The Rockets' next win is 72. Huh. But that's very interesting. DC and Houston. All right. Was that game in Houston? That game's in DC. Yeah, so no doubt about it. 3 games against Texas to start the season for Washington while the World Series is going on. There is definitely something up with that. All right, so they're 43 and 32. And then, here, let's just see what their record is against, or here, let me write it down. Wizards are 80 and 71 versus the Rockets. All right, and they also play San and it'll be the 94th game, which connects to the World Series. 60 and 33. So the only team they have a winning record against of the Texas teams is the Rockets. Think about that more. There's something going on there. What do you think? You think that means it goes Game 7? Wizards host Houston the day of Game 7? I mean, that just looks in your face. And the other team they play is the Oklahoma City Thunder, who used to be in Seattle, the other Washington team. Again, the Nationals made it to their first World Series like the Mariners didn't. Huh. All right, but this Knicks Spurs game, let me pull this up real quick. Spurs, Knicks, head to head. All right, so caller said they've lost 10 straight in San Antonio. 1. Or 9 straight. 2. Or hold on. No, never mind. The Spurs are going for their 10th straight opening day win. But let me see. Let's see when the last time New York won in San Antonio was. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Right here. January 2nd, 2014. It's a span of 303 weeks. They lost 101, 105. Last time Spurs lost to Knicks at home was January 2nd, 2014. Is that right? Yeah. .303. New York and Spurs are both 33. I just wonder if the Knicks could surprise since they got that 74 connection. And real quick, let's just take a minute just to go through and look at who's got the 74 connections for this NBA season since it's the 74th season. So, Brooklyn, New York does equal 74. That's something to keep in mind. Brooklyn, New York is 74. New York Knicks is 74. Let's see. Heat got the 74 connection. Oregon is the only state that sums to 74 using the alphabetic order. Let's see. So there's actually only a small group of teams that have the 74 connection. Brooklyn, New York Knicks, Heat, and the Portland Trail Blazers. There could be other 74 connections through coaches and player names, but in terms of teams, that's it. Brooklyn's an interesting team. Let's see. To keep an eye on how those 74 teams do tonight. Let's see here. So again, the Spurs are going for their 10th straight opening day win. 10's 39, New York's 39. Spurs is also 39. That's pretty hard to go against. That they could get that 10th straight opening day win. 10 and 39, usually a pretty strong pairing. It's just the Knicks have that 74 connection. And then Thunder and Jazz. Prior to the caller pointing out that the Jazz could lose their 8th straight game to the Thunder, I was thinking what looked good here was the Thunder getting their 79th loss in the series, because that's the 22nd prime and Utah's 22. The game's in Utah. But man, those streaks at 8, those have been really good. So that could be a nice upset right there if the Thunder did beat the Jazz. Caller?
Knicks are going for their 39th all-time away loss in San Antonio as well today.
The Knicks would get their 39th all-time away loss?
Yeah, including the postseason in San Antonio.
Well, they probably never met in this. Have they ever had a finals against each other?
Yeah, they have. The last time the Knicks were in the finals, I believe they lost 4-1. That was with Allen Houston.
All right. David Robinson days.
Yeah. Tim Duncan, yeah, totally. The Knicks were the 8th seed, I believe. They had like some Cinderella run. Houston hit a crazy shot. I think it was against the Heat in the corner or something like that.
Okay. I think I remember that. All right. Yeah.
And then with the Jazz there, also OKC is going for win number 45, and they can stay on 44. I think Wednesday's 44 versus Jazz as well.
Yeah, I love that Knicks San Antonio series was 4-1. Of course it was.
Of course.
All right, man.
Come on.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hold on, there's one more, and then OKC also is they have 52-5-2 all-time regular season losses in Utah. They can stay on that number as well.
Okay. All right, yeah, good observation.
All right, brother.
All right, thanks, man. See you. So, it is true that the Knicks could pick up the 39th all-time loss. That includes the postseason. I don't like to mix the postseason with the regular season, but it would fit into the overall pattern. Okay. So yeah, this Thunder and Jazz game, because of the streak of 8. Now, streaks of 8 have been good in baseball and football. I don't know why they wouldn't count in basketball this year as well. It's still 2019, so that's a potential upset right there. If the Jazz lost, it would be the 8th straight to the Thunder. Again, their next win is 79, and that's the 22nd prime. Hard to go against. So that's definitely the upset narrative. And then the Nuggets and Trailblazers. This is the 181st game between these teams. Portland Trailblazers is 181. The Blazers lead 98-82. Again, we're just looking at the regular season, not counting the postseason. So if the Blazers won, they'd be 99-82. Portland Trailblazers is 99. Trailblazers is 82. So the record would be a nice tribute to the Blazers. Doesn't have to go that way. Games in the Moda Center, which equals 98. And if the Nuggets won, they'd get their 83rd win on the 23rd day of the month. 83 is the 23rd prime. Colorado's 83. Again, Oregon, 74. 74th NBA season. The the Nuggets coach. He is 173 and 155 with Denver. His next win is 174, and Portland, Oregon with the alphabetic order is 174. And let's see. So it's tricky because, again, a lot of times when when it's the game number that syncs with the team name, it's a good sign for that team in most cases. But I worry a little bit about the Nuggets here picking up that 83rd win on the 23rd. And again, just how that coach can get his 174th win in Portland, Oregon. So I'd probably shy away from this game too. Just because you can make an argument either way. I almost feel like the argument is better for the Nuggets. But I'm just not sure. Blazers knocked out the Nuggets last year in the playoffs by the numbers. Got the battle of the Curry brothers for the 73rd NBA season. Curry brothers 73. And again, Blazers are one of the teams with the 74 connections. The Kings and Suns game, Luke Walton can get his 149th loss tonight. 149 is the 35th prime. Suns is 35. That was a number that played big with the Suns. So that's the riddle that stands out there to me. Luke Walton getting that 149th loss to the Suns. Kings are slight favorites on the road. But to me, it's that Luke Walton loss that stands out. So again, just to take it from the top one more time with basketball. Bulls are playing in Charlotte, Michael Jordan Town, 112th game, Chicago Bulls 112. Bulls coach can get the 18th win on the 18 date numerology. Charlotte coach can stay on 49 wins against the Chicago Bulls. Star player Zach LaVine for Chicago. It's 227 days after his birthday, the 49th prime. Chicago Bulls 49. Pistons and Pacers. I don't see the read on this game. Cavs Magic. It's the 110th game. Orlando's 110. The Orlando coach can get his 239th win on the 52-date numerology, 239 the 52nd prime. Celtics at 76ers. The Celtics coach can get his 223rd loss, Philadelphia 223. Big number last year in their postseason series with Brooklyn. Brooklyn, New York's 223 as well. Grizzlies and Heat. Let me put down a couple more notes, too. Did I already pass the games? Or I guess I didn't get to it yet. So let's jot down that Heat is 74. Let's remember that. 74th NBA season. Going to keep my eye on what all the 74 teams do tonight. So Miami can get their 27th win in the series in Miami. Miami's 27. That would make some sense. Notice the Miami coach comes into the season with 523 wins. That's the 99th prime number. Miami equals 99 in the English extended cipher. Timberwolves and Nets. Let me make the note here that Brooklyn, New York equals 74. Etsy, the company out of Brooklyn, New York, banned my book on the 74th day of this year, March 15th. Again, 58th game, Nets 58. That's usually a good sign. It's just that Minnesota coach can get his 18th win on the 18-date numerology. So to me, makes it a little bit iffy. But Brooklyn, New York, 74, 74th NBA season. So again, what are these 74 teams going to do tonight? Do they all win? Wizards and Mavericks. If the Mavericks did lose, they would pick up their 33rd loss on the 33-date numerology during the time of this World Series. I'll point out that Washington, D.C. equals 137, 33rd prime. So you got to have faith in that 33. And again, we saw that the Wizards will host Houston on what would be Game 7 of the World Series. Something else. They start off the season playing 3 Texas teams. 2 of those games are in Texas, 1 in D.C. Knicks and Spurs. Spurs going for the 10th straight opening day win. When you write out 10, it equals 39. New York's 39. Spurs is 39. Knicks can pick up the 39th all-time loss in San Antonio. So there's a riddle with that. The best thing going for a Knicks upset is that they have a 74 connection, and the coach of the Knicks could get his 18th win with New York on the 18-date numerology. Knicks upset is possible. It's been 303 weeks since they won in San Antonio, kind of like 33. New York and Spurs 33. And then maybe the best riddle for an upset tonight is the Thunder beating the Jazz, just because the Jazz have lost 7 straight. They could lose their 8th straight. And we're going to learn something tonight about streaks of 8 if they're extending into the NBA. And again, I don't see why they wouldn't. It's the 2019-20 season. We're still 2019. So they've been great for us in baseball and football. But tonight we get to see if it applies to basketball. And if the Thunder upset the Jazz, do remember that. It would be the 8th straight win of the Thunder against the Jazz. If Utah wins, they'll get their If Utah wins, they'll get their 79th win in the series. 79 is the 22nd prime. Again, Utah's 22. And you know what? Let me see something real quick. Jazz schedule. Let's see when they play the Thunder again. Just make sure make sure the next game's not on the 22nd or something like that. They play again December 9th. Be a date with 24 numerology. They play March 11th. That'll be a date with 9, 14, 34, not 22. And then they play April 13th, 2020. Be a date with 21 numerology. So no 22s in the schedule for them. So it probably will come in Utah. Doesn't have to be today, though. So the first 2 games are in Utah. The next one's December 9th. Next game's in 47 days. Okay. The one thing I could say about Thunder winning in terms of October is October does equal 111. If they got their 111th win, that would fit in with October. Actually, October equals 111 and 78. That would be their record. 111, 78 if they won. Caller?
Just keep in mind, OKC has that 45 win that they're going for against Utah all time. That's going for them today on 45 date. And also to stay on 52 regular season away wins at Utah as well. So they've got the streak in those two as well.
Yeah, the streak at 8, and you're saying their record specifically in Utah.
Yep, and in Utah, correct.
Okay.
They're going for 45 all time, 45 date, and then in the regular season, they can stay on 5-2, 52 losses. They have 64 in total, but 12 of them came in the playoffs on the road.
Okay. Yeah, I see that. They played each other a lot in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Okay.
So they've got 3 things going, including a possible 8th.
All right. Yeah, good observations.
Yeah. All right.
All right,
You got it, Zach.
See you. Okay. So, what we can do real quick, just for some extra verification. Again, it's not good to use the regular season and playoff records that are mixed. They're very misleading. I still remember opening day last year. I really liked the Blazers to win. I think they were playing the Pelicans. And somebody brought up the stats with the all-time stats, and they're like, look how perfect it lines up. I was like, yeah, but that mixes the postseason and the regular season, and sure enough, the Blazers won the game. And so again, these stats, if they include the postseason as well, they're not that helpful. They can be more misleading than anything. Let's here. Because again, most of these teams have played each other in the postseason, so oftentimes it is mixed. Yeah, like Bulls and Hornets have postseason history. That's why I wish the one site Land of Basketball had the home and away record for these teams. Caller?
Hey, Zach, how you doing today, buddy?
Doing well. How are you?
Good. I got a note on the Kings and Suns game. The Suns can pick up their 136 win versus the Kings. Luke Walton equals 136. Luke Walton has 98 wins. Phoenix equals 98. Williams equals 98. The Suns coach Walton can pick up his 149th loss.
Right.
That's the 35th prime. Williams equals 35. Luke Walton equals 35.
Wait, what, I know Suns equals 35. That's what I have jotted down. What else equals 35 besides Luke Walton?
Williams equals 35. The Suns coach.
Oh, the other coach's name, too. Yeah, I like the Suns to get it done tonight. I like that Walton can get that 149th loss versus them. But the other observations
and stay on 98 wins. Williams equals 98 as well. Phoenix equals 98. I'm liking the Suns.
Yeah, I like the Suns. I'm with you, so... Yeah, great observations.
Yeah, I figured I'd throw that out there for you.
All right, thanks, man. Appreciate it.
Yep, thank you.
All right, see you. Yeah, when we're done with today's live stream, I'm going to finish updating the basketball database. I'm going to get all the coach... I'm going to get it so you can just click a link to get the coach's record and get their gematria up there and everything. So that is a great observation that Luke Walton's 136. And so... Yeah, I dig the Suns. Let me look here at the Trailblazers and Nuggets. Yeah, they're gonna have postseason history mixed though. The Blazers are on 74 all-time wins against the Nuggets coming into tonight's game at home. Isn't that interesting to start the 74th NBA season? That's regular season and postseason. Blazers have 74 all-time wins at home versus Nuggets. Caller?
Yeah, you're talking about the Suns. Got me thinking of Phoenix Rising, that movie. Something like that, a Dark Phoenix Rising. And then, isn't this the year or supposed to be next year, the Phoenix? Something like that?
I'm not sure. I'd have to look that up.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, something about, the NWO and the Phoenix. But anyway, so it had me thinking here. Perhaps they might have a decent year. No one will be expecting it.
Well, the Phoenix is the symbol for order out of chaos, and chaos equals 19, so we're starting in the 2019 season.
There it is. Okay, then, yeah, it was something along that line then, yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
All right, appreciate it, man.
All right.
See you. But yeah, in the beginning of the NBA season, I just be careful and look for the best riddles on the board. Consistent patterns like Philadelphia and 2-2-3. Again, as the team records build up, we'll start to get better synchronicities. Teams going into Boston and they can fall to 2-2 in Boston. That's probably what's going to happen. These type of things. So today's a good day to take a lot of notes. But there are some decent picks on the board, I think, in basketball. So I like the Bulls riddle. Just one more time, I like the Bulls riddle. I like the Orlando riddle. I like the Celtics coach getting his 223rd loss against Philadelphia. So I like 76ers. I like Miami getting that 27th win to start their season in Miami. I know my caller with the hot hand likes the Nets, man, but to me, I worry about the Minnesota coach getting his 18th win on the 18-date numerology. Gematria is usually better. Again, Brooklyn does have that 74 connection, but Wizards and Mavs, again, watch this one for World Series clues. Actually, you know what? This game, I need to do this for all the Eastern Conference and Western Conference games. I can get more information here that should be helpful. Let's see. There could be a winning stat right third of the month. So never mind. There is something here. Mavericks can pick up 23rd win over Wizards on October 23rd. So that's a good stat. That's a good stat right there. Keep them on 16 losses. So, okay. I'll take that for the Mavericks. Caller?
Hey, Zach. Sorry to call back, but I just got to update that Jimmy Butler's going to miss his Miami debut due to personal reasons.
Okay, Jimmy Butler not playing tonight. All right.
Yeah, I figured I'll share that for you. And they're one of the 74 connecting teams, so I figured I'll share that with you.
I'll measure from his birthday right now just to see how that lines up. Appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem.
All right, thanks. All right, let's see. Jimmy Butler. September 14th. So today's 39 days after his birthday, his 40th day of his age. 39. Miami's playing Memphis. I'm not going to overreact on that. Let's see. Jimmy Butler. Okay. Let me make sure. What other Eastern and Western Conference games do we have here? Grizzlies and Heat are one of them. Heat. Memphis Grizzlies. So they're 15-8 at home. 15-8. Well, the only thing I see there is they could pick up their 9th loss on the 23rd. Yeah. Caller?
Hey, Weasel. Terrible day yesterday. What happened?
Yeah, hockey wasn't so good, but how was that Juan Soto pick? How was the Juan Soto pick? Yeah, get back to me. Juan Soto ends up being the MVP. It wasn't a bad day. 16-1 odds. And let's see. So here's the one risk going against Miami. Miami could pick up 9th loss on 23rd of month. 23 is the 9th prime, so and there's no connection with 16 in the date today. Jimmy Butler is going to miss game. Yeah, maybe I would chill on this Grizzlies and Heat game just because of the Jimmy Butler thing. I mean, them picking up the 27th win in Miami to start the season does make some sense, but seeing that they can get that 9th loss at home on the 23rd and Butler's out, I'm not sure what they're doing with that. Butler's 39. It's 39 days after his birthday. Yeah, I might just... Yeah, I'd take this one off just in case they're doing some funny business there. There is a chance of that 9th loss on the 23rd. That's regular season, so that could actually be an upset. But I would just leave that game alone. Timberwolves and Nets. Let me do this too. All right, so we picked up a Dallas game, and we're losing a Miami game. So the Timberwolves, let's see, Brooklyn Nets, Minnesota's 11-18 at the Nets. So now you have two 18s on the board. Minnesota is 11-18 at Nets. So now you have where the Minnesota coach could get his 18th win on the 18 date numerology, and Minnesota could stay on 18 losses at the Nets. Be something if all the 74 teams lost today. That'd be the Heat, the Nets, the Knicks, and the Blazers. Okay. Toronto, Ontario 74 again. They had the first game of the 74 season and won it. But they had a decent riddle. All right. Knicks and Spurs won finals against each other. Thunder and Jazz, Western Conference. I'm sure they've met in the playoffs plenty of times. Nuggets and Blazers, Kings and Suns. Okay. Caller?
Hey, Zach, I'm sorry I called you back. I'll ask a question real quick.
Yeah.
Why you like Orlando? Is it a pretty good team this year, Orlando?
They were pretty good last year, playoff team.
They were playoff last year?
Yeah, they lost in the first round.
The team they played tonight, is they any good, the team they played tonight?
Hold on. Let me verify who they play again. They play the Cavs tonight, so yeah, the Cavs aren't so good.
LeBron Jr. played one day. Like you said, LeBron Jr. come there one day. LeBron Jr. though, he gonna play there one day. I bet you he gonna go to Cleveland.
Yeah, but not yet. So
he got a couple. He got a few more years at first, right?
Right. So here, just while you're on and everybody's listening, games that look good to me tonight. I like the Suns to beat the Kings. Phoenix Suns over the Kings. I like that game. If there's any upset I want to take a stab at tonight, it's the Thunder beating the Jazz. They're a 9-point underdog in Utah. The reason I'd take that is because if the Thunder win, it'll be their 8th straight win against the Thunder, and those streaks of 8 have been good. We haven't seen if they're going to work out in basketball yet, but because they've been so good in baseball and football, I'm going to take the assumption that the Thunder upset the Jazz tonight. Spurs should win their 10th straight home opener over New York. Again, 10-39. Knicks do have a little upset riddle there, so hold on. The better games, I'm going to take the Mavericks to beat the Wizards tonight. Mavericks can get their 23rd win at home over the Wizards on the 23rd of the month. Let's see. I like the 76ers to beat the Celtics. The Celtics coach will get his 223rd loss. Philadelphia's 2-2-3. And I like the Magic tonight, 110th game. Orlando's 110. The coach can get his 239th win on the 52-date numerology, 239 the 52nd prime. I like that. And let's see. I like the Bulls too. So.
Okay, the Bulls too. Okay.
Yep.
Okay, no problem. I make sure I pick some good games tonight then. So I listen to you. Thank you very much, sir.
All right. Yeah. Welcome, man. Take care.
All right.
Yeah, see you. Okay. So that is that, and again, all these notes are posted. The World Series tonight. So let me see something real quick. I want to verify what a caller said earlier. All right, hold on. 2019. That's what I want. The Nationals won. All right, so the Nationals won the last 2 games of the ALDS. And then they swept the Cardinals, so that's 6 straight. And then they won game 1, that's 7 straight. So they could win their 8th straight game tonight. Hey, Victor.
Hey, what's going on, Zach? A couple of things I found interesting. And the Houston Astros, they actually share a spring training facility, Zach, in West Palm Beach, Florida.
These two teams do?
Super Bowl is. The Nationals and the Astros, yes.
Huh. Crazy.
In Florida, where the Super Bowl is this year. And Washington Nationals, Ryan Zimmerman, graduated from Virginia, University of Virginia, the defending national college champions.
Huh. Interesting.
And he also wears the number 11, the same as the reigning Super Bowl MVP, Julian Edelman.
Huh. Huh. Very interesting. Yeah, good
So so Zimmerman still has a chance, Zach.
Oh, sure. He hit the big home run to start it yesterday.
Yeah, and that was also interesting too because he locked up another record. He's he has the first home run in Washington Nationals history. So I thought that was quite interesting too. But then Soto comes up to get the second in history to go along with that 22.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, perfect riddle.
And he also hit a double. There was 2 outs when he hit the double, and he had a stolen base. And when you write out stolen, it equals 22.
Huh. Perfect. Yeah, he had a great game. And I think he made the last out of the game, too, if I remember right. So.
Yeah, I was just calling just to show a deeper connection, not just between the Nationals specifically, but just with what's going on in the World Series, what just happened in college, and what previously happened in the Super Bowl. There's a slight connection with everything. Florida, Virginia, you know what I mean?
Sure. I wonder if anybody has a connection to Vanderbilt since they just won the College World Series.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I'll check into that. I'll call you back if anything.
All right. Keep up the good work, man. All right, see you. All right, so Nationals can pick up the 8th straight postseason win. Again, streaks at 8 have been hot. The Astros, their next home win versus the Nationals is 130. Washington's 130. I feel like they're going to pick up that 130th home win. If this series ends up going to Game 7, they don't have to pick it up today because that would mean the series would return to Houston. But there is still a chance this series ends in 5 games, 4-1. Remember, if the Nationals lost in Game 5, their World Series record would be 5-11. Caller?
Zach, I just found out the Nationals have a Dominican Academy. Remember that Big Papi shooting?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, and it just so happens Juan Soto is from the Dominican Republic as well. So
sure,
it's just hilarious.
Huh? Yeah, interesting. All right.
But yeah, it just goes to show you, that connection is coming across strong with Washington. Who are you gonna look at the game today, or?
I'm doing it right now. Yeah, I'm doing it right now.
Oh, okay, I'm listening.
Yeah. All right. See you, man. Okay, so again, Astros' next home win versus the Nationals is 130, Washington 130. Remember, Washington gave the Dodgers their 130th postseason loss to close them out. And then the thing about the Astros is they're on 115 away wins at the Nationals. So it's like, are they going to win any in the World Series in Washington, or are they going to stay on that 115? That would be the riddle for them to get beat in Game 5. If Houston won tonight and then lost 3 straight in Washington, because that's the way the series goes. 2 in Houston, 3 in Washington, 2 back in Houston. So if, let's say, Houston won tonight, it was 1-1, and Washington won 3 straight, it would end in Game 5. It would be a 4-1 series. The reason that's possible is because of Skull and Bones 41, the way we picked this World Series at the end of the postseason. Or at the end of the regular season, I mean. Again, the Nationals are 102-71 for the entire season. They improved to 9-2 yesterday in the postseason. Astros 92. They got to win 3 more games to win the World Series. They get to 105 wins. Nationals is 105. You just had the death of the umpire, whose full name equals 105. You have the Steve Scalise story connected to the World Series. His full name's 105. If the Nationals lost today, they could get that 72nd loss on the 72 date numerology. So that's one thing going against the Nationals. That said, the Astros, they're 114-60 for the entire season. If they lost today, they'd get their 61st loss on the 18 date numerology, and then that's that very reliable prime number relationship. 61, the 18th prime. The word prime equals 61. Baseball equals 18. Again, Roger Maris hit 61 home runs in 1961. 61, the 18th prime. So you can make an argument for both teams to pick up the respective total loss of the season. And the Nationals are 21-19 in the postseason all time. Their next loss is 20. Astros is 20. The Astros are 46-54 in the postseason all time. They lose 3 more, they'll have 57 losses. World Series 57, Nationals 57. If they won 4 more, they would get to 50. Washington's 50, but again, 57 is the big World Series number. And if they went to Game 7, they won only 3 games, they'd have 49 wins. Washington's 49 in the most pure cipher. If they won just 1 game, they'd have 47 wins. DC 47. The Astros as a team are now 4-8 in World Series. If they lost today, they'd be 4-9. Washington's 49 in the most pure cipher, but it does have an S. The 58 also plays. They could improve to 5-8. I don't see the Astros getting swept. I mean, I don't see the riddle with 4-0. I see it with 4-1. I see it with 4-3. I don't see it with 4-0. Strasburg's on the mound today. He's 3-0 in this postseason, so that means he could fall to 3-1. Again, Houston's 31 in the most pure cipher. Caller?
Hey, Zach, hold on 1 second. Let me turn this down. Hold on. Anyway, Zach, not like it matters. I don't know what the significance of it is. You guys have me thinking about the Oklahoma City game today. And it's 187 days from the anniversary, April 19th, of Oklahoma City bombing.
Sure, okay.
I don't know. Does that have any significance at all, or am I just reaching?
Well, I mean, we know who likes that number, 187. I mean, that is interesting, but it's hard to say that that's going to determine the outcome one way or the other.
Okay.
So.
All right, thanks, Zach.
All right, yeah, no problem, man. Take care. Okay. This game is on Strasburg's 96th day of his age. It's 95 days after his birthday or his 96th day of his age. Justin Verlander equals 96, who he's going up against. Verlander still has never won in the World Series. Strasburg right now is 21-6 for the entire season, but 3-0 in this year's postseason. So again, if he lost, he'd be 3-1. We've seen a lot of 31 with Houston. How many times have they put up 3 runs in the first inning? Strasburg is 4-2 for his entire postseason career. Now remember, Astros equals 43, so he's got 2 things going against him: the season count and his career postseason count. Caller?
Hey, so the Astros away record suggests they have a shot to get swept in this postseason. Well, the World Series anyway.
Because of the 115 wins they're on against the Nationals away?
And then if they lose 2, they 115 and 112, I think.
Okay, I see what you're saying. So if they lost today and then lost 2 more, yeah, they'd be 115 and 112 away. Okay. Houston.
Yeah, there's a perfect tribute right there, huh?
Yeah, but just in light of all the Skull and Bones stuff, I mean, Skull and Bones and 41 is a big number, and how it's all been synced up with HW number 41. That's just why I couldn't see it end in 4-0. I mean, it's all through HW, so.
I agree.
41 and 43 both connect to Skull and Bones. 41 and 43 do. So.
I agree. No, yeah, that's for sure. But I just wanted to point that one out there in case there's being overlooked, you know.
Sure. I mean, it is possible. Anything could happen. I wouldn't understand the riddle if it was 4-0. So.
Is there anything that home record that would suggest a sweep?
Well, the next symbolic number for the Astros home record is to get that 130th win over Washington. So.
Well, how about a loss at home, though?
Their next loss is 99. I'm not sure about how that fits in with the teams.
And then Washington would be is that 82 or 92 in the postseason?
Washington is 9-2 in the postseason right now. If they win today, they'll be 10-2. The word magic's 102 because again they're calling it Nats Magic. So.
I could have sworn you and I were discussing a 102 number yesterday or 2 days ago.
If they lose, they'll be 9-3, and the name Justin is 93. They're going up against Verlander. So.
Interesting. Okay, just want to point that out there. All right.
Appreciate it, man. See you. Actually, is Justin Verlander, Justin Verlander, if you use the numerology rules, is 93 as well. And Justin's 93. Let me make a point about that. Justin equals 93. Justin Verlander equals 93. And remember, 93 has the strong relationship with 226. Earlier in this postseason, probably the easiest call of the whole postseason, Verlander became 22-6, 226 days after his birthday. Okay. So again, coming back to Strasburg, if he loses, he'll be 3-1 in this year's postseason. Houston's 31 in the most pure cipher. He'd fall to 4-3 in the postseason for his career. Astros 43. He does have a chance at 5-2 though, and we do have the 52-date numerology. If Strasburg lost today, he'd get his 61st career loss, postseason and regular season. Again, 61's the 18th prime. You have the 18-date numerology. Strasburg's 1-0 versus Houston in 3 career starts. He has a 1.80 ERA against Houston. And then Verlander, his birthday alignment isn't as interesting. He is 22-8 for the entire year. If he won, he'd get his 23rd win on the 23rd of October. If he lost, he could become 22-9 for the entire year, like 229 the 50th prime. Washington does equal 50. And Verlander, he's 14-9 in the postseason. Remember, Skull and Bones is 149. That happened 322 days after the death of HW. If he won today, he'd be 15-9, like 159. Scottish Rite's 159. The Bushes have their portraits up in the Scottish Rite House of the Temple in D.C. Scottish Rite's also 57, like World Series. So I could see why he'd get a Scottish Rite tribute in the World Series if he became 15-9. Verlander is 0-4-1 in the World Series, meaning no wins, 4 losses, and 1 no decision. So he's still looking for his first World Series win. If he did lose, he would be 0-5-1. Nationals 51st season, Houston Astros 51. So you could make sense out of that. But it seems like, just based on how we expect the World Series to end either 4-1 or 4-3, if the Astros lost today, I feel like it would screw up those riddles. I mean, it could still happen. It's just the Astros, they're on 115 wins of the Nationals. So I think there is a strong chance that the Astros could get swept in DC and the series could end 4-1 in Game 5. Just staying on the 115 wins in the 115th World Series. So, doesn't have to be that way, but I mean, the riddle's definitely there. So with that thought in mind, you'd think that the Astros would even it up tonight with the chance of getting swept 3 straight in DC. And hold on. That game, Game 5, October 27th. Let's think about that date. October 27th. It's like 127. Scottish Rite of Freemasonry's 127. World Series is 57. That'll be the day that Bill Belichick's going for his 300th career win on the 300th day of the year against the team he originally coached. It'll be a date with 76 numerology, National 76. It'll be a date with a life lesson number of 49, Washington's 49. And let's see something. Dave Martinez, birthday, September 26th. So it would be 31 days after Martinez's birthday, or his 32nd day of his age. And then the World Series, if it went to Game 7. If it went to Game 7, that would be his 35th day of his age. Against Skull and Bones, 149, the 35th prime. He got that Skull and Bones tribute. The end of the season, the game against the Indians. And AJ Hinch, I forget what his birthday is. Is it May? May 15th. Let's see. That's 165 days after Hinch's birthday. Scottish Rite is 165. Again, Scottish Rite 165 and 57 like World Series. Like how Verlander could become 15-9 today. And did you guys notice the Astros had 107 wins in the regular season? 107 wins. They end up playing the Washington Nationals. That's something we talked about when we were talking about how that could be the riddle. These teams meeting. All right. And then I should have... all right, so it's 165 days to Game 5 if it ended right there. Be 168 days to Game 7, or his 169th day of his age. Again, that Game 5, I mean, if the Nationals do win it in Game 5, the Astros would be 5-11 in the World Series all time, like 1-1-5 in reverse. Verlander's a big part of this story. So does Martinez improve to 10-2 or fall to 9-3? 93, the Verlander number. Magic 102. AJ Hinch. He's 25-19 in the postseason. This year he's 7-5. Again, Houston Astros is 75. If he lost, he'd be 7-6. National is 76, the singular. National League, Nationals. Dave is 76, the first name of the manager for the Nationals, Dave Martinez. If he lost the next two games, he would be 7-7. Houston 77 and DC 77. They'd have their backs against the wall. They'd be down 3-0 if that happened. And he'd fall to 7-7 the first game in DC if he lost. So I would say if Houston loses tonight, they will probably lose that next game and fall to 7-7. We know how big that number is in DC. Again, we just saw the Cardinals pick up their 77th loss of the season on the day leaving 77 days left in the year to be eliminated. DC on the 77th meridian. Okay. If Houston did win tonight, they would be 6-2 at home. Houston, Texas is 62. If they lost, they'd be 5-3. I don't know what the symbolism is of 5-3 to either team. Pretty sure there's no connection there with that. Minute Maid Park. Minute Maid alone without the park is 62 like Houston, Texas. Also 46 like Houston, Texas. So, yeah, the way things stack, tough call 2 days in a row. But if I guess regardless, if Houston wins or loses today, I think they're in trouble Game 3. So... It's just if it is going to be a 4-1 series, I think Houston's got to win this game. But if it's going to be a 7-game series, then it's not necessary. Washington could start up 3-0. Houston could battle back. make it a 3-2 series. Houston 31, Houston 32. Guess they'd have to make it a 3 series for it to go Game 7. So. But yeah, the group of basketball games I think are the best plays today. And next we'll talk about the golf tournament that's about to start. Caller?
I feel like this World Series is a combination of not only Skull and Bones and Mr. Bush, but Trump as well, with nationalism.
Well, sure. The whole Steve Scalise shooting that's connected to this happened on Trump's 71st birthday, June 14th, 2017. So
that makes sense then, yeah.
That was a date with 57 numerology, World Series number.
Yep, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, a prime example of how it can be used a couple of years later, huh?
Right. And when that shooting happened, I did decode the day from the day of the shooting to the start of the World Series that year, which Houston won. It was 132 days later, just like how the day of the shooting, Houston won 13-2 over the Rangers, and the Nationals lost 13-2 to the Braves.
Oh, yes, that's right. I remember that. That is,
yeah.
Got it. Okay, brother, cool.
All right. See you, man.
Yep.
And actually, with regards to Trump, we can see how these dates that we're looking at sync with Trump's birthday. His birthday is June 14th, which is the flag's birthday. So Game 5 is October 27th. It's 135 days after Trump's birthday. It would be his 136th day of his age. 136 was a big number in the Cardinals and the Dodgers series. 136, 16th triangular. And that means that Game 7's 138 days after Trump's birthday. Well, that's big right there because Nationals is 138, Donald Trump's 138, Federal's 138. So Game 7, 138 days after Trump's birthday. Caller?
Yeah, Zach, I was trying to pick your intuition on this game. What you think? Because we have seen the streaks of 8, but Houston, it don't look likely of them going down 0-2. So I was trying to see what was your feel of the game.
Well, I'm thinking the same way as you because, there's a lot there that lines up for the Nationals, including that streak at 8, but I don't feel like Houston's going to go down 2-0 either. And I was just looking at Game 7. Last caller pointed out how this is connected to Trump, which is true. Game 7 is 138 days after Trump's birthday. Donald Trump equals 138, so does Nationals. And remember, they just beat the Cardinals in their 138th season. So maybe this is going Game 7.
Right. If it do goes Game 7, maybe it is a possible that they can lose. Houston can lose and get the 2 right back on the road,
Right. So, and again, if they win this game, they'll pick up their 130th win. Washington 130 before they play these 3 games in Houston or in D.C. So.
Right, and then I think, what about the 72? Because I believe the 71. What is it with the 72?
Nationals can get their 72nd loss of the season. Yesterday they stayed on 71 losses on the 71 date.
Right. All right. So it's really one of these games you don't want to touch, really. Kind of like that, huh?
I would say it's a pretty dangerous game. I think some of those basketball games are the better riddles today. So.
Yeah, I do too. I was just trying to. So, man, Houston, I've been rolling so good, but Houston has actually killed me, over this whole year. I done lost I'm trying to make my money back off Houston, long story short.
Sure.
Because they done killed me, over this whole year, man. It's like every time I get on them, they burn me. Last night, I had them in my parlays, and they killed my parlays. So it's I really just want to fire at them one time to kind of, get a look back before this season in, because they done killed me all up and down this season.
Yeah, they've been a funny team. Yeah. And because
I know he haven't won a game yet, so I don't know, man. I'll just probably let it ride out and see what it do. I'm trying to definitely capitalize on Houston one game before this season end, though.
I hear you. Let me see how many days it is from the death of HW to today, because he's definitely connected to HW. So let's see how that goes. But I was also going to say you don't have to earn it back on Houston. I mean, you can earn it back in other ways. But yeah, it is good to recognize that Houston's got.
Yeah, it's just that team literally has just man. That Houston it just killed me. I just had bad luck with them, so I was just trying to at least salvage one win. It would make me feel better, you know.
Sure.
Like prime example, man, I had hella parlays yesterday, and that's the team that killed all my parlays. I had the basketball right, and then I parlay with my football early during the week. Like today, I got my football already with my parlays, so I don't have to sweat on Sundays. I just go get 2 easy winners for football, and that'll close out all my parlays. But Houston, they already killed me last night on my parlays, so it's like, man.
You went with them yesterday. I thought that game was pretty dangerous yesterday. So.
Yeah, I did. I put them in I didn't do nothing big, but still, I could have had parlays pending from Tuesday.
Sure.
Now I hope I have parlays pending from Wednesday, but still, you know, it just everything else was gold. Houston was the one team that knocked me down.
Yeah. Did you take Juan Soto for MVP?
I didn't do that. I'm not a futures guy. That's the only reason, man. I'm not really a futures guy. I ain't gonna lie, Zach. I ain't a futures guy.
Okay. Well, that's okay. You're winning, so you have a good strategy.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, and I hate I didn't do that, man. I really do. But I think I'm still gonna have a chance to do that. Like, let me know we can monitor his odds, and I'm pretty sure they probably won't go back to 16-1, but they might go back down. If Houston takes the lead, they might go back up to 15-1 and 20-1. So if we can keep an eye on that, I will hit it if I can get it back to go up that way.
Okay. All right, man.
Yep. I'll let you get back to it, man. Keep it up.
All right. Yeah. Take care. All right. Oh, that's too bad. So yeah, seeing this with Trump that Game 7's 138 days after his birthday. I think we are probably going to Game 7. Again, this riddle really did start June 24, 2017, his birthday. Let me make sure I got that in the notes. And then we'll talk about this golf tournament here. This golf tournament, we have no history to go off of. It's the first ever edition of this tournament, but I see something interesting. All right, hold up. Where should I put this note? Game 7 of World Series. And remember, on the day of Game 7, Houston in basketball is playing in Washington, D.C. Caller?
Hey, Zach. How you doing?
What's up, man?
Not much. You're probably busy on the World Series stuff right now, aren't you?
Yeah, just doing the live stream. What's going on?
Oh, not much, man. I was just going to throw that thing out there with the Vikings, so it's probably off topic of what you got going right now. So, but, I wanted you to look up the word berserker.
Okay.
B-E-R-Z-E-R-K, berserker.
Right.
They have like 3 different words, ways of spelling it. There's an S, and then there's another way with the S with a K-I-R at the end, but berserker, and those numbers with the B-E-R-Z, and that is what they used to refer to as the, Vikings back in the old day. And it's got some pretty interesting numbers to it. But when you look at like Wikipedia and you kind of read about it, and you look at those other words and the other ciphers, there's some other interesting numbers to it. Some of the sagas they talk about and whatnot. But so I know you know where I'm going with that. So I just throw that out there so you can check it out later on when you have time. But also, one other little thing real quick before I let you go. The Gophers football team, if they win on Saturday, it'll be their 703rd win for the school. 703 is the 37th triangular number. 37 is the 12th prime number. And the game will be 1 month and 2 days before PJ Fleck's birthday.
Huh.
So, not sure if they'll cover or not, but that's about all. So,
good observation.
I know it's off topic, so anyway, I'll let you get back to the baseball stuff, man. Who's going to win tonight?
It's a tough call tonight. I'm still on the Nationals to win the series, but I was
that's who I told my buddy. He's a big baseball guy, And he gets irritated with me when I tell him about this stuff, man. And I told him last night, I'm like, just messing with him. I texted him, Nationals in 7, and he never responded.
Well, if it goes to Game 7, that's 138 days after Trump's birthday. Donald Trump's 138, so is Nationals. They just knocked off the Cardinals in their 138th season. And what else is funny is in the NBA, the Rockets play in Washington, D.C. the day of Game 7.
Nice. Right on. Well, hey, is there any tie, like, the Nationals, didn't they start in Washington, D.C. in 1961? Because I know their team that was there, the Senators, they came to Minnesota and became the Twins.
Right, I know that. So.
And the Vikings started in 61.
Yeah, I'm not sure about I don't know about the other baseball franchise. I'd have to look into that.
Yeah, it was something like that. They, I looked at it last night. I can't remember what I saw, but I know that they became the Twins, and then the Washington team, they got another expansion team after that or something. So, but anyway, awesome work, dude. I love your shit, and everybody else, Zach's the guy. So, all right, man. Talk to you later.
Appreciate it, man. Take care.
Yep, no problem.
See ya. Okay. All right. Definitely wasn't the guy yesterday in hockey. But anyway, I'm really having trouble, even though there's plenty on the board for a Nationals upset again today, I'm just having trouble going against it. And honestly, I would just stick to that safer group of basketball games that look good today. And the one hockey game doesn't look bad either. So it's not like Houston's a great payout today. Be better to get the Nationals. And I feel bad for my man that took the Astros yesterday. If I was going to bet any team yesterday, I would have bet the Nationals just because they were the way better payout and they had a lot that lined up for them. I wish he did that, but I guess I should have been more adamant about it or made that point. So I am thinking this is going Game 7 though. The 4-1 riddle's not out of the question, but yeah, that between the Rockets and the Wizards playing on the day of Game 7 and how it lines up with Trump, that's hard to go against. So, all right. The golf tournament that starts tomorrow. This is going to be the first edition of the Zozo Championship. So we don't have any history to go off of. But what I would do, the numbers I would assume that are going to hit are the ones in the most pure ciphers. Zozo Championships 96. Any golfer that has a connection to any of these Zozo Championships is a good sign, I would say. But that 96 is probably going to be the most significant number. The word Zozo could definitely matter alone. Again, winners. Justin Thomas just won that CJ Cup again. And remember, he has the 23 connection, the 9th prime. We saw that the two winners, one of which was him, had the connection to 9 because the course last week was 9 bridges. So the course name and the tournament name are always the most important things with these golfers. Caller?
Hey, Zach. I'm leaning also for tonight. I think the Houston Astros, it's tough. I mean, Vegas had like a minus 200 for them to win the World Series. So they're heavily favorite for it, and they're playing at home. So I'm saying it's very hard for me to imagine. It is possible for them to lose both home games, but Houston Astros are the favorite. The underdog won yesterday. Today they're playing at home again, so it's possible. But for it to be a really good series, a World Series, they're gonna probably split and head over to Washington. That's all I got.
All right, appreciate it, Izzy. See you, man.
All right.
If Verlander wins, he will be 15-9, big Scottish right number. And in light of talking about Donald Trump does equal 159 too, but Verlander posed with the bushes and not Donald Trump. So anyhow, the location of this tournament is in Japan, and again, because there's not any history, it's hard to pick out what numbers will be the most important, but for the field ranking, they got Justin Thomas, who won last week's tournament. Rory McIlroy's in this week, but not Koepka. I always say his name wrong. Xander Schauffele? I forget. Anyway, Hideki Matsuyama, Paul Casey, Victor Hovland, Colin Morikawa, Tony Finau, Adam Scott, Gary Woodland. So anyway, I just went through the top 10 guys. And Justin Thomas, I don't see his numbers really syncing up with the numbers of this tournament. Other than maybe the location, but that's pretty weak. Justin's 93 like Japan, if it was something like that. But I was looking for people with connections to the course or the tournament name. Rory McIlroy, he has a nice alignment with his birthday. This tournament's 173 days after his birthday, the 40th prime, golf's 40. But he doesn't really have any of the key numbers that stood out in decoding the tournament. Schauffele has some interesting things going on. His 26th birthday will happen during this tournament. Zozo equals 26. Zozo also equals 82. Xander Schauffele's 82. And notice that Xander, 66 and 96, like Zozo championship. So he's got some numbers that connect to the tournament. Usually it's the last name or the scorecard name or the full name. In this case, it's his first name, Xander, that goes with the 66 and 96. Matsuyama, he's Japanese. Tournament's in Japan. The tournament will start on a 46-date numerology. And with regards to the tournament starting on the 46-date numerology, the location equals 199, which is the 46th prime. So interesting how the Japanese player, he has, through his first name, he has the 46 connection. Paul Casey, the tournament starts on the right date for him. It starts on his 96th day of his age. And again, the name of the championship, it's the first ever edition of this, and the most pure cipher, it equals 96. So that could be a good sign that Casey starts the tournament on the perfect date. And Casey also equals 82 and 28, like Zozo equals 82 and 28. So he's got some decent numbers, Paul Casey. Victor Hovland, tournament begins on his 37th day of his age. His scorecard name's 37, so he's got a nice little alignment with his own name. Caller?
Hey, Zach, I never asked you about this. Just want to get your thought here. Andrew Luck retiring. We all know his connection, with Houston. You think there's a possibility that's also World Series related, only because of Colts, 45, and Astros?
Well, it very well could be. I'd go back and look at the day he retired. It was Vince McMahon's birthday. It was Vince McMahon's 74th birthday. I'll look at that real quick just to see how it syncs up.
74, huh?
Yeah, he retired on Vince McMahon's 74th birthday. I know that.
Got it.
All right.
Okay, yeah, it was just a thought here.
All right. Thanks, man. See you.
Bye.
Okay. Victor Hovland, his scorecard name's 35. Again, the name of the course equaled 149, the 35th prime. So he has a nice start date with his scorecard name for his birthday, and then he does have a name connecting to the course. What he's missing, though, is the tournament connection. Colin Morikawa has the 149 connection like the course, and I'm blind. Oh, there it is. Colin Morikawa is 66, like Zozo Championship. So he has the connection, and he's Japanese. So you got a tournament in Japan, and he has the connection to the course and the tournament, which are always really good signs. If you got a connection to both. Course 149, tournament name 66. And Tony Finau, tournament begins 40 days after his birthday, connecting to golf. He does have the 26 in his scorecard name. Zozo's 26. He also has the 46 connection. The tournament starts. So And then Adam Scott, he has the 96 connection. The tournament's 96. And Zozo is 26. He's got that as well. So based on the fact that there's no history, I might watch to see what the day one leaderboard is. And maybe even take a stab at the man who it's on the 96th of his day, him having a great first day. But if you see some of these guys up here that have the connection to the tournament, especially Morikawa, since he's Japanese and he's the only guy out of the top 10 that connects to the tournament and the course, they could be the contender to take for the tournament. Of course, there's a whole lot more. I think there's 78 people in this tournament. Again, I don't have the time right now to do the full golf decodes like we're doing in primary golf season. This is still sort of the golf off season. But my hunch would be that 96 is going to be the number in this one, since that's the name of the tournament and the most pure cipher. And I guess out of the top 10 guys, the guys that are the most intriguing to me are Colin Morikawa and Paul Casey, just because the tournament begins on his 96th day of his age, and he has the name connecting to the sponsor, Zozo. Matsuyama, he's another Japanese guy, plays very well. Shoffley's definitely interesting too. The fact that he turns 26 during the time of the tournament. So he's got the right name. But I think Morikawa and Paul Casey out of the top 10 to me have the most intriguing connections. And I screwed up last Thursday. I said after day one I would do an update, and I got bogged down and I didn't get to it. I'm going to try to make sure I don't make that mistake 2 weeks in a row. I do want to evaluate the day one stats and get that information up. So it's just a matter of keeping up with all the games, because it is pretty overwhelming. So the golf notes are attached in the post. Again, the post just beneath this live stream, I linked today's NBA notes, NHL notes, MLB notes, and golf notes. They're all right there. So I think we covered everything. I'm going to spend the rest of the day building this, making this better, and I need to build up the NHL one better too. I want to get more crucial information here. When you go to each team, so you got the coach, you got a link that you can click on that'll show you their win-loss record right away. So I'm going to be updating the basketball thing for the rest of the day. And God, I even have to do my radio show today. All right. But yeah, look for those updates. I'll try to get that done before the radio show starts. All right, let's see. Okay, I see some chatter about the Colts in the playoffs. Again, that was the initial thought, that the Super Bowl would be the Colts and the Saints. It's possible. Again, Bridgewater, the Super Bowl's on the 54th day of his age. It's not out of the question. All right, we'll wrap it up there, you guys. Be back tomorrow. I'll shoot for noon Pacific, 3 Eastern time. I'm going to try to make that the regular start time. Start a little bit later today because I had to do the golf decode too. So maybe Wednesday will be the later start date of the week just because there's extra to do on Wednesday. But tomorrow, plan on noon Pacific, 3 Eastern for the start time. And yeah, I got to get the football notes. The football notes I posted yesterday, but there's still some updates to do that. But all the primary stats are there, so keep plugging away at things. All right, you guys, have a great rest of your day. Until next time.